Yeah, thank you so much, IAP team, for providing me this opportunity. It's my pleasure to be here with all the stalwarts of neonatology. Thank you so much. So far, Dr. Balakrishnan has clearly and beautifully explained the steps that are involved in basic resuscitation, starting from preparation till providing positive pressure ventilation. And in the next 20 minutes, though it's hard, I'm going to demonstrate with videos the steps that are involved in providing resuscitatory measures from preparation till positive pressure ventilation. So first thing, a 25-year-old primigravida mother, it's a term gestation, she has been admitted in active labor. So the pediatrician arrives here for resuscitation or for receiving the baby. So how to proceed with this? So resuscitation does not start with the time when we receive the baby. So we need to be prepared for that. Good evening, everybody. In this video, we are going to demonstrate the pre-resuscitation preparation before receiving the baby in the delivery room. First thing comes is the proper aseptic precautions. That is proper hand washing based on the recommendation, which is followed by wearing sterile glove, apron, mask, cap, etc. And after that, we should anticipate the risk factors based on the 4 questions we ask. One is the gestation age, whether it's a term or a preterm baby, whether the likelihood is clear.
Dr. Vinod, is it possible to increase the volume of your
risk factors in mother or in the baby?
Pardon, sir?
So with this fact,
the volume is too low. Can you increase it?
Yeah, 1 minute, sir.
Can I suggest something here, Dr. Vinod? Can you move to the top? No, Dr. Vinod's screen is there. No, on.
Yes, sir.
What you do is, I will go there to the remote control there. No, when you on top of the screen you are having on green color.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You go to the right extreme. Is there an option called more?
Yes, sir.
In that you have clicked that share your video, share your audio. Is it ticked?
Yes, sir. Share computer sound.
No, yeah, computer one share video sound is there. In that one of the options is share video sound.
Okay. So share computer sound is there, sir.
Okay, yeah. And okay, and then you come to the microphone.
Okay.
In that you can choose stereo mix, but if you're not going to speak, then you can put that. Then you will get the audio output from this thing directly. If you also have to speak, then it will be same as system. If you click that microphone, the microphone on your if you go to the screen, there's a microphone. Just click that arrow, you'll get a lot of options. In that, select a microphone. In that, there is headset. Your stereo mix.
In that more options I need to see, sir.
Yeah, in the microphone, there's an arrow near to the microphone.
There is nothing stated as microphones.
No, the one there will be a mic, like mic and the video on top of the screen. On the top of your screen, there will be a green color thing, in that on your extreme left.
Okay.
Or he can talk and show the video.
Yes, sir. In microphone.
Just click that arrow.
Okay.
In that, you just see if stereo mix is there. Stereo mix.
Yes, sir. Stereo mix is there.
Yeah, probably that will be taking only audio from the computer.
Audio seems to be okay, Vinod.
Or you just talk through it, Dr. Vinod. If you can talk through it, also be fine.
Your audio is clear.
Just, can we check this option, sir? So it will work, I think.
If I select stereo mix now, can I talk from here, sir?
Yeah. You mute it and then you can talk from here.
No. If you're putting a stereo, if you want to talk, you can log into another phone and you can talk.
Sir, Ilana, you just try it now because we are falling behind. Can we just try it again?
You go back and try again, Vinod. Your audio is fine.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. In this video, we are going to demonstrate the pre-resuscitation preparation before receiving the baby in the delivery room. First thing comes is the proper aseptic precautions. That is proper hand washing based on the recommendation, which is followed by wearing sterile glove, apron, mask, cap, etc. And after that, we should anticipate the risk factors based on the 4 questions we ask. One is the gestation age, whether it's a term or a preterm baby, whether the likelihood is clear, how many babies we are expecting to receive, and last one is the associated risk factors in mother or in the baby. So with this background, we need to assign a proper team. Team briefing is more important before receiving. So we should assign the leader and also the supporting person to help in resuscitation. So with this, let us move on to equipment check now. So we assessed the risk factors, anticipated the risk involved. So we have started on team briefing, we have briefed the team, and now we move on to equipment check. Coming to equipment check. So in this, we are supposed to check for the availability of all the equipments that are needed for resuscitation. Not only that, we need to ensure that they are functioning well. So going in a systematic way, first of all, we are supposed to look for the temperature maintenance. So for this, we need to have a radiant warmer, which has to be switched on at least 20 minutes prior to receiving the baby. We should have 2 pre-warmed towels. There is towel that has to be pre-warmed by placing under the radiant warmer. Then having plastic wraps, that is for receiving preterm babies who are less than 32 weeks of gestation age. Then coming to airway, have a shoulder roll, have a bulb syringe, and having a proper suction apparatus, suction tubings, and also suction catheters. At least 12 French and 14 French catheters should be available. Then we have the cord clamp. We have sterile blade or sterile scissor to cut the cord. We have the stethoscope to assess the heart rate after initial assessment. Then coming to oxygenation, we need to have the central oxygen supply with the blunder oxygen tubings. To assess the oxygenation, we need to have a pulse oximeter and pulse oximeter probe. ECG monitor should also be available, and for that we have the ECG leads. Coming to providing positive pressure ventilation, we need to have the self-inflating bag of appropriate size and volume. We need to have 2 sizes of mask, one for preterm and another one for term babies. So more important thing is we need to check the functionality of the self-inflating bag beforehand. This is very important. Okay, so we have the reservoir in place. So if you are going to provide positive pressure ventilation for more than 2 minutes, we are supposed to decompress the stomach. For this, we need a orogastric tube of 8 French and a 20 cc syringe. So coming to intubation, we need to have laryngoscope blade of sizes 0 and 1. 0 is desirable. More important thing is we need to see whether it is functioning well. So we need to have extra set of batteries. Still it is optional. Then ET tubes of sizes 2.5, 3 and 3.5. So we need to have adhesive tapes to fix the ET tube. Then coming to medications, we need to have adrenaline, normal saline. We need to have appropriate size syringes like 1 ml, 10 ml, 2 ml, 5 ml syringes. So for establishing vascular access, we need an umbilical catheter, a 3-way adapter. To cut the adhesive tapes, we need to have scissor. And this is T-piece resuscitator we can use instead of self-inflating bag. So adhesive tapes are also available. So we need to have a clock to assess the timing, and also we need to document the interventions. So all these things to be carried out, and all these things have to be checked before receiving the baby. So once equipment check is over, we need to be ready to receive the baby. So here comes another scenario. It's a healthy woman, 26-year-old, 39 weeks of gestation age, that is a term neonate. Comes to the hospital in labor. Her pregnancy has been uncomplicated, single baby, membrane just got ruptured after arrival to the hospital, and the like is clear. So all the 4 questions are answered. So this looks like an uncomplicated delivery, and the mother is about to deliver. So how to proceed with that? So assuming this baby is delivered now by normal vaginal delivery without complications, how we are supposed to proceed? So now we are going to see how we are going to manage a baby that has been born normally. So in this normal delivery, assuming this baby has been born via normal vaginal delivery, so first thing we need to ask should be whether the baby is having proper respiratory effort, and also whether the baby is crying well and the tone is normal. If all these things are good, the baby is doing well, then immediately we need to place the baby over the mother's abdomen, providing a proper skin-to-skin contact to maintain the temperature normally. So look into the airway. Only if there are secretions in the airway, we are supposed to go for suctioning, either with bulb syringe or central suction with the suction catheter. So after that, dry the baby over the mother's abdomen, remove the wet linen and replace it with a warm towel lining. So these things will be done with intact cord. So wait for 60 seconds, let the baby be on mother's abdomen, providing a skin to skin contact, and after 60 seconds, umbilical cord should be clamped and cut. Okay, so after that, baby has to be started on breastfeeding. So this is how we are supposed to manage a baby which is born normally, and here itself we need to evaluate the baby for proper respiratory effort, tone, heart rate, color, as well as temperature. So this is for a baby which has a normal transition. If there is a delayed or abnormal transition, so how we are supposed to proceed? This baby has been just delivered. This baby doesn't have a good respiratory effort. The baby is apneic, no cry, and the baby is floppy. So the cord has to be clamped and cut immediately, and the baby has to be brought to the radiant warmer. Baby has to be kept in a flat position with the whole body exposing towards the radiant warmer. So immediately after placing the baby has to be positioned. The airway has to be patterned. So place a shoulder roll. Keep the baby's neck in a slightly extended position. Look into the airway. Only if there are secretions that obstruct the airway, you are supposed to go for suctioning, or else there is no need to go for routine suctioning. Suction catheter, please, sister. So suctioning has to be done first in the mouth and then into the nose. So after clearing the airway, the baby has to be positioned well. So baby has to be dried with the towel, and the wet towel has to be removed immediately, which is replaced by a warm towel. So the baby has to be repositioned now, and after this baby has to be given tactile stimulation by rubbing over the back as well as the extremities. All these things have to be done within 30 seconds from the time of delivery. So after these initial steps are over, we need to check for the response. That is by checking the heart rate and also the respiratory effort. So heart rate at this stage has to be evaluated by using a stethoscope. Stethoscope, please, sister. So count the heart rate for 6 seconds and then multiply it by 10. So it has to be auscultated over the left side of the anterior chest wall for 6 seconds. And when you multiply with 10, you will get the heart rate for 1 minute. So this is how we are supposed to evaluate the response after the initial steps. So the baby has been assessed after the initial steps, that heart rate as well as the respiratory efforts are being counted. So the same thing has been given as a scenario here. Since the baby had a delayed transition, initial steps are performed and the baby was assessed for response. So how to proceed further? So here, after the assessment, we find that the heart rate is more than 100 and the baby is having normal spontaneous respiration, but the baby is found to have cyanosis. So how central cyanosis, how to proceed with that? After providing the initial steps, we need to assess the baby. So after the initial assessment, we need to look into the heart rate as well as the respiratory effort. So here, the baby's heart rate is more than 100 and the baby is having good respiratory effort, but the baby has central cyanosis. Central cyanosis may be normal up to a certain point of time in any baby, provided it falls within the target oxygen saturation. So here we are supposed to monitor the target oxygen saturation, pre-ductal oxygen saturation. Please place the probe in the right hand, sister. So monitor the saturation and compare with the target saturation. If it falls below the target for that age, we are supposed to start on free flow oxygen, provided the baby has good respiratory effort. Oxygen, please. So the oxygen has to be placed near the baby's nose and see to that the baby is breathing well. So titrate the oxygen based on the target saturation for that age. If the baby has labored breathing and the heart rate is more than 100, then it is time to start on CPAP, that is delivery room CPAP concept. TPs, please. So this has to be given through TPs resuscitator. So what we are supposed to deliver has to be preset here, and it has to be delivered through a snugly fitting mask. Gently place it over the baby's nose and mouth, covering both the nose and mouth, and provide PEEP to the baby. So with this, we need to shift the baby to an ICU or post-resuscitation care. So on the other hand, after the initial steps, if on assessment, if the baby is found to be apneic and the baby's heart rate is less than 100, so how we are supposed to proceed? So the initial steps are over and the assessment has been made. Now after assessment, the heart rate is found to be less than 100 and the baby is apneic with no respiratory effort at all. So this is the ideal time to start on positive pressure ventilation. So usually we start positive pressure ventilation with self-inflating bag with appropriate size mask. So mask has to be placed first over the chin and ensure that both mouth and nose are covered. So with this, we need to start on positive pressure ventilation. Keep the thumb as well as the index finger and hold the mask. The other 3 fingers should be placed over the mandible. So when we start on positive pressure ventilation, it's ideally to be started on pulse oximeter monitoring. Place the probe system on the right hand. So if you have the facility of ECG monitoring, the leads also have to be connected. So regarding oxygenation, it is desirable to start at 21% FiO2 when we deal with term babies. If it is less than 35 weaker, then we are justified in starting somewhere between 21 to 30%. So we need to give in the sequence of breathe 2, 3, breathe 2, 3, breathe 2, 3, breathe 2, 3. So you need to give in this sequence and look for the chest rise. So we have started on positive pressure ventilation. How to look for the response? Okay. So first give 15 inflations. Breathe 2, 3, breathe 2, 3, and look for the rise in heart rate. So the best indicator that we are properly ventilating the lung is the rise in heart rate. So if there is rise in heart rate, then continue for another 15 seconds, and after the end of 30 seconds, we need to reassess. If there is no rise in heart rate, then look for chest rise. So if there is chest rise, then also we are adequately ventilating. So we can continue for another 15 seconds, and at the end of 30 seconds, we need to reassess. If both heart rate is not rising as well as the chest is not rising, then we are supposed to go for ventilation correction steps. So that goes by the name MR SOPA. If in such a case, reposition the baby and give inflation. If there is no chest rise again, then look into the airway. If there are secretions, go for suction. Suction 2, please. Clear the secretion.
4 minutes.
Keep the mouth open and ventilate. Even then, if there is no chest rise, you need to increase the pressure and look for chest rise. And even then, if you are not getting any chest rise, then it's time to go for alternate airway, that is intubation. During this process, if you are getting chest rise at any particular point of time, give positive pressure ventilation for 30 seconds from that point where we get an adequate chest rise. That is effective positive pressure ventilation. After that, we need to look for the response. Okay. So the alternate way, another way of giving positive pressure ventilation is TP's resuscitator. So the same way, you need to keep the mask, and positive pressure ventilation can be given by occluding the valve here. So the desired tip can be set here and it can be delivered to the baby. So give effective positive pressure ventilation for 30 seconds and then reassess. The reassessment means again look for the heart rate and also respiratory effort in the baby. So a few words about TP's resuscitator.
So just I wanted to show TP's resuscitator. It's an alternate way of giving positive pressure ventilation. So this is the gas inlet where we are supposed to give the inlet of gas. We can give a flow of up to 5 to 15 liters per minute. So this is the outlet, and this tubing has to be connected and the mask has to be placed over the baby's mouth and nose. So this is the outlet valve. This one is the inlet for the gas. Okay, so this is the maximum pressure limit beyond which we cannot deliver, and this is the port to adjust peak inspiratory pressure. PIT. That's what we are supposed to deliver. So once we close, once we close it over the baby's mouth and nose, when it snugly fits, the amount of PEEP that has been delivered will be displayed here. The PEEP can be adjusted by rotating the valve over here. So this is how a TP's resuscitator works. So be it TPs or self-inflating bag, whenever we give positive pressure ventilation, if you are giving positive pressure ventilation for more than 2 minutes, then it is desirable to decompress the stomach using a nasogastric tube and a 20 ml syringe.
Another 2 minutes, Vinod.
Yes, sir. My presentation is over, sir. I have almost finished the demonstration from preparation till completing positive pressure ventilation and reassessment, sir.